Tov, good evening, everybody. This is Rabbi Shapira, and I'm so glad we're taking a few moments before the Shabbat to speak together and to speak with you about an important topic that actually affecting all of us, especially those who live in the United States. You're watching me now. I assume that the majority of the people who are watching me are watching from the United States. I want to, this evening, right before Shabbat, tomorrow is Erev Shabbat, I want to give you a word of prophecy. I want you to pay attention closely today to the broadcast, and I want you to share this broadcast right now, because we as believers, we need to understand end-time prophecy. We need to understand right now that we are in a time that prophecy is poured out in an accelerative way. We continue to hear Pesach, Shavuot, Rosh Hashanah. We keep on hearing those three ways: Pesach, Shavuot, the Feast of Trumpets. Now, last weekend, we celebrated together the Night of the Bride. And what we have seen in the Night of the Bride was a real move of God. Matter of fact, I can share with you now the real complete map of what the Night of the Bride looked like. And it's still, even today, still growing. We hit over 100,000 views already on the Night of the Brides, and we're receiving from all how Hashem has done work that is doing right now, signs, wonder, miracles, revelation, all throughout the world. Now I want you to notice this cluster in the bottom of Africa, South Africa. You saw what happened during the Night of the Bride and after the Night of the Bride in the United States. I don't need to tell you. You watch the curfew, you watch the tragic murder that took place, and you see what's happening in the streets of America right now. Now, the question that I'm about to answer with you, friends, what is the connection behind the Night of the Bride to what is happening in America right now, in the African American community? By the way, you should know that many of the people who went to protest for what took place are Jews. Jews are big into social justice. Many Jews went. But the effect that took place all over the world is effect of extreme anti-Semitism that has been poured out after the murder that took place. There's no other way to categorize it as murder. I want to explain to you this evening what's going to take place this Shabbat. This is as significant as a Shabbat that we're coming upon Parashat Neso as the Night of the Bride. And I want all of us to be aware and understand what is happening right now. I've been sitting and I've been praying and I've been meditating and I asked God, why is this wave just after the coronavirus is happening? What is the connection? Listen to what I'm saying today. Between the coronavirus to now the lawlessness that is taking place in United States of America. And what does it have to do with this cluster on the map? Because your support, we're able to deliver the books to the Lembas. Friends, I'm getting reports from the wilderness, from our people, that this Night of the Bride, those books, those publications change lives forever. Forever. Life has been changed forever. And as the life has been changed forever down in Africa, we are seeing what's happening in the African American community. And today, I will explain to you what's happening in the spiritual realm in the United States of America. Let me see. People say that they cannot hear me. If you can hear me, this is too important not to be heard. So if you can hear me, will you please say, yeah, I think you can hear me. I see some people like problem. I want to explain to you right now what is happening in the prophetic sense, in the prophetic word. And I want to say this specifically. If you are African, I'm going to try not to raise my voice, as you can hear it still very, very weak. But if you are African, or if you are African American, God wants to get your attention now. Now, more than ever, he wants to get your attention. Now listen up. God has brought the COVID-19 virus as he wants to set a highway for the king. He is creating an order out of the chaos in the world. It's a new world order, and it is the Messiah world order that is being established. On Shavuot, we celebrate together the night of the bride, when we have seen 104 nations, friends, over 3,000 concurrently, 100,000 views together, stand and say, we will take upon ourselves the Torah. We will take upon ourselves Messiah. We are ready to make a way for him. Now, what does that have to do with the African American community? That's where we have to turn to the Bible. We have to understand what the prophets of Israel has been telling us and been prophesying to prepare us for this day. And it's not going to be a long message, but it's very clear. Friends, I'm sitting down praying, and a voice from heaven speaks to me. Today, I have to tell you what the voice of heaven has said. Here is what the voice from heaven said. Are you ready? The voice of heaven said, Africa has the seed of Israel all throughout the continent. All throughout the continent. This was a surprise for me, friends, when I saw these clusters in Africa, when I start to hear the report. Friends, because of you, we distribute 1,000 books. And our people rejoicing, our people returning to the roots. We are starting to hear reports of revelation in Africa, of the Jewishness among the Lembas from Kenya, from the Igbos, from Madagascar. We're getting all of those reports, and God spoke to me before I even opened the scriptures. And he says to me, you know what this is happening? This is happening because the bride have an article of clothing in Africa. And unless Africa is ready, the bride cannot be ready. Remember, the bride is whole, the bride is full, and a major part of the house of Israel, what we scripture call Zera Israel, the seed of Israel, is right there, hidden in Africa. In a minute, you will understand what's happening in the United States of America. Tune in with me. Stay on this message right now. I need you to focus. Because the revelation that I'm giving you today is not Rabbi Shapira. Heavens spoke to me. Heavens spoke to me. And he told me, change the plans for this Shabbat. Change everything for the Shabbat. Something supernatural is about to happen with Africa and with the African American community. Let me say it again. Something supernatural is about to happen with the African American community. I have given 1,400 messages. I never once addressed the African American community. But tonight, I am, because you have a very special invitation. Africa has a very special invitation. And the time is now. This is why we are seeing this revival. Look with me what it says. According to our sages, it says, according to Amos, chapter 9, verse 7. Check this out. I saw this verse. I was floored. It says, Israel, these northern tribes, Nikreu, they are called Kushim. They call Kushim. The word Kushim comes from the word Kush. Kush is Ethiopia, or the area surrounding Ethiopia. And it says that Israel is likened, or they are called Kushim. As it is say, Kushim comes from the word black. As it is says, this is from the Talmud, quoting Amos chapter 9, verse 7, Alo kibnei Kushim atem li. You are Israel like the sons of the Kushim. You, Israel, are called Kushim. Why? Because the prophet is telling us that there is part of Israel, let's call them the remnant. Let's call them those who have been scattered, who are like the Kushim. Now, when the prophets speak about them, he's not speaking about them in a favorable way. Why? Because they have been scattered. They have been gone. They are no longer there. Look at this. It says in Amos, to me, O Israelite, you are just like it's translated as Ethiopians, but it is not say Ethiopians. That's not what Hebrew Holy Tongue says. Let us not manipulate the Holy Tongue. It says Kushim, Atem libnei Israel. You are like the Kushim, declares the Lord. Why? Because Israel is there in the Kush. True, I brought Israel up from the land of Egypt, but also the Philistines from Kaftor and the Armenians from Kir. Okay? Israel, number one, make yourself the note, Israel has a name. And one of the names that Israel is called by is Kushim. Kushim is a generic name for anybody who is black. Now, I want to be careful here. I am not saying that every black person is from the seed of Israel. That's not what I'm saying. I am saying that, as we're going to see in 1 minute, it is this specific group of the house of Israel who is scattered in Africa that is called Kushim. That's speaking about, specifically here, about a subset from the house of Israel. Now check this out, what the prophet's saying. It says in Moed Katan, This is in the Talmud, recorded in the Talmud. Similarly, you can explain the verse as you not much as mine as the children of the Cushite, children of Israel. Is their name Cushite? No. Their name is not Cushite. Israel is their name. Rather, just as the Cushites stand because of the dark skin, so too the Jewish people are distinguished by their action, and they are different from all other nations. Friend, we have today groups in Africa like the Ibu, like the Lambas. They are completely distinguished from the other groups in their customs, in their tradition. And here the Talmud itself recorded, and it says at times they're going to look at Cushites like regular Africans, but they are really Israelites. They are part of the seed of the house of Israel. We have a movement today that is a very dangerous movement. They call the Black Israelites. They're anti-Semitic. They hate the Jewish people. But you see, this is what a Satan wants to do. He wants to take a little grain of truth and he wants to twist it, pervert it, and manipulate it. In reality, the prophets of Israel explain to us that it is this exact seed of Zera Israel, of the seed of Israel that found in Africa, not only that is a Jewish seed, it is the seed that is needed to bring Israel to salvation. The entire salvation, because Yeshua said that the last will be first and the first will be last. Guess what? The prophets of Israel have agreed. It is those who are the least among our people, who are not even counted as our people today. They will be the one who will bring Israel to salvation. You ask Rabbi Shapira, how do you know that? I know it because my Bible tell me so. In Zephaniah chapter 3, verse 10 on, we read about the nations coming to their fullness. And as they come to their fullness, we see how this fullness is going to take place in part of the salvation of all of Israel. Now we read a very interesting passage. Let's read this together, and it says, from beyond the river of Cush, which means what? To the south of the river of Cush. What is the south of Cush? Zimbabwe is the south of Cush. Friend, it is the Lamba people and our people who are south of Cush, from beyond the river of Cush. What it says, my suppliants shall bring offering to me in fair posai. Now, I want you to understand, because there is a mystery here. There are two nations that are being mentioned. Now, we don't know today what are those nations. One name in the Hebrew is the name Atari, and the other name Bat means the daughter, Potsi. What about Potsi mean? It's come from the word futsot, my daughter who has been scattered. Friends, it says that there will be a daughter of Israel who is going to be scattered, and they will be one. And look at the word, next word. It doesn't say they will bring offering. The word is yovelun. That's where we get the word yovel. Jubilee. That is talking about what this group is going to be doing. They are going to lead the house of Israel to the Jubilee. 50. Jubilee is the number 50 for the coming of the Messiah. What they're going to do, they're going to bring the mincha. The mincha is a special gift. The rabbi asked the question, what is the gift? What is the great gift that they are going to bring that is going to lead to the south of salvation of Israel? Here's what we know. They're south of Ethiopia, two nations, but it's not nations, it is a region. It's a prophecy, friends, of all of Africa. The sons or the daughters who have been scattered. I have a chance, friends, to go to the wilderness in Zimbabwe and could go to Nigeria. They are scattered. And they are everywhere. In a minute, you understand what's happened in the United States of America. And that's why I need everybody to pay attention today and alarm and alert your African Americans friends. You know why a Satan right now is doing what he's doing? Because when African Americans, when they left forcefully, they were sold and they were kicked out of their homeland, they lost their roots. You see, a curse was put on them because those who were before them also left their root. They lost the root. The Zimbabweans, the Igbo, they left the roots. The Lembas, they left the root because they were wicked. They kept just a little bit of the tradition. Today, what's happening in the United States of America is a result of the root of the entire African American community being lost. When the root will be returned to Africa, this is the revelation from Hashem. When the root will return to Africa, it will also return to the African American community, because every African American is connected to Africa. Every African American, and that's why I call upon African Americans today. You need to know your root. Your real root is not Africa. Your real root is in the house of Israel, at least for the remnant. And today, what is happening is African Americans are turning against Jews. You know what? Because they're turning against their own brother, because that's what we do. But now, look at what's happening prophetically in the world. A revival, a real revival is starting to happen among the natural branch in Africa, which is the seed of the house of Israel. This is the root. They are returning to the root. Zimbabwe is experiencing a return to the root. And when Zimbabwe, but see, when Nigeria, where Kenya, where Madagascar will return to the root, it will affect every black person in the world. You know why? Because they are spiritually connected to Africa, and Africa connected to the 12 tribes of the house of Israel. So if we heal the root, we are going to be healing the entire, which including the African American community, friend, in the United States. But Satan doesn't want it. So now what does he do? He is turning African Americans against Jewish people without knowing that they are affecting the root that they actually belong to. And there's only one who can restore them to the real identity, and his name is Yeshua. Yeshua wants to do a miracle. Friend, we are talking about the real restoration of the bride. You thought what we did in the night of the bride was a big deal? God is about to do something much bigger. First in Africa, then with the African American, African European, African Asian, all Africans all throughout the world. Why? Because they are connecting by the roots, friends. And that is a prophetic. What he's saying here, it's saying, look at this. Again, if you missed what I said to you, I want you to understand. Read Zephaniah chapter 3 in context. God is going to return all the nations to one tongue, to one tongue. He will return into Hebrew. And there's going to be two regions, two group of people south of Ethiopia called Atari, okay, and Batputsi. Those are random names. There's no country that called Atari or Batputsi. It is the daughter of the scattered one among the house of Israel, and they're going to lead Israel to their salvation, because the rabbi asked, who is their gift? They are the gift. You want to know what God wants? Want anything more than anything else? He wants his children to be under one roof. Can you know how much God loves Africa? He wants all the children to gather. And that's why Itzhak Abarbanel says, and I brought it intentionally, in Hebrew, he says this, and I quote to you, friends, I need the African American and Africans to understand this today. Look what Itzhak Abarbanel, a Sephardic Jew, has written and says, therefore, et Israel lo yadu. Those two nations, those two group of people, they are not part of Israel as we know it. It's a mystery, friends. They are scattered. They have name. Atari, they can Batputsi. Today, if I go to the land and say, hey, you're Jewish, they don't act Jewish. They know very little. It says, Shehem. Look at it. Shemot umot yedot. It's a well-known nations from the Cushim, from the Cushites. Okay? And look at what it says it's going to happen. Itzhak Abarbanel connected Zephaniah chapter 3 to Isaiah chapter 18. Friends, look at the dots here with me. It says that those two regions, Yovilun, will lead the gift as the prophet Isaiah declared. Make yourself a note. Isaiah spoke about the same thing. Make yourself a note. We're going to see it together. Isaiah 18:1. When it says, I will ring. Woe to the land of wearing wings. Wings. Remember what God said? God said, I will carry you. We just heard it last Shabbat. Parashat Yitro. For Shavuot. I will carry you on eagle's wing. You want to know? I'm getting goosebumps right now. How they are going to be returning back on eagle's wing. Even the promise in Exodus chapter 19, he's speaking to the scattered. In the future, he will carry them. Look at this. Woe to the land of wearing wing beyond the rivers of Ethiopia. Look at what it says. They're going to be returning. And here is how we know they're returning. They're going to be doing something special. Remember what I explained to you a moment ago? That they're going to bring a mincha, an offering. An offering. Look what it says. Here it is clear as glass. And it says, Shavim. When they return, Yovilu. Like from the word jubilee, or to lead the way, Shai Lamore. What does it mean, Shai Lamore? Make yourself a note of that. A gift when they unified under the work of the Shin Yud. When they offered, this is what he say, when they unified. when those people unified in bringing the offering, they will lead to Israel's salvation. Today, we're entering a new chapter. It's a chapter, listen to me carefully, friends. I am not kidding when I say that today. We have to call today from Africa on the African Americans to unify under the name Shin Yod. Now, you probably ask the question, who is she? What do we need to pray for? Now you understand why God has put the African American community in such a mess. Because when they get their home in order and when they return to the root, it's going to bring the salvation of the entire house of Israel. Friends, a story like that cannot be told or written by anybody. So who is Abarbanel speak about the Shai Lamore? He says when they unify under the Shai Lamore, which speak about here in Isaiah, it's actually Shin Yod. Let me put it for you so you understand what it is. Shin Yod Lamed Vav. Shiloh. Shai Lo. When they unify themselves from Africa to the rest of the world that is rooted in Africa, when they united themselves under the name of Shiloh, they will bring Israel to salvation. Who is Shiloh? Shiloh, friends, just go to Sanhedrin 98 and understand who is Shiloh. Shiloh is Yeshua. Shai, a gift to him. When the three magists came to Joseph and Miriam, what did they give? Shiloh. They gave gifts. Remember, they gave the gifts. This is exactly what the text is saying that will happen in the future. Just that they brought the gift to Joseph and Miriam, again a gift will be brought to Zion. But this time the gift is the remnant, is the scattered one in the house of Israel. And this remnant in the house of Israel, who's going to be represented as a living gift, is none other than those who scattered in Africa. Oh my God. Oh my God. We are getting a completely different picture of what is happening right now in the world. That's why the prophet Isaiah has said it like this. Land in the deep shadow of wings, beyond the river of Cush. The Hebrew word is Cush, south of Cush, friends. All there. You want to know South Africa, friends? There is no coincidence. There is no coincidence that we see this South Africa right there is not coincidence. And I need everybody to understand this is not a coincidence. This is the beginning of the fulfillment of this prophecy. But from this point, this is going to grow to African all over the world. Get ready. Get ready. This is what God says He's going to do. Look what He's saying here. He says, go, swift messengers, to a nation tall and bronze, to people feared far and near, to the strong conquering nation, those land divided by rivers. Look at this. All the inhabitants of the world, you live on the earth. When the banner is on the mountain, look. When the shofar is blown, listen, I told you already, get ready for Rosh Hashanah. We have to do something very specific in Rosh Hashanah this year with Africa. I'm going to announce it in Shabbat. He's talking about it here. Look at this. And then look what it says in a conclusion of Isaiah chapter 18. Absolutely incredible. Verse 6, he declared, in that time, what does it mean in that time? During the days of the coming of the Mashiach. Tribute. Remember what I read to you from Zephaniah? Now you see why Abarbanel connected it to the same event. Tribute, the word there, tribute, what is it? Shai le'Adonai, Shiloh, Messiah. You can put this at the word tribute, you can put the word Mashiach. Mashiach will be brought to the Lord of hosts from a people far and remote. Let me say it again. Mashiach will be brought to Zion from the scattered who are south of Cush. That is the beginning of the prophecy. From a people far and remote. Their return to the root, meaning that the entire tree will be healed. Israel will become whole again. We are seeing this right now, and I am saying this to you as shocking as it can have fun. Today, there's only one that brings people to this root, to this seed, back home to the real identity. His name is Yeshua. Africa is in the process of finding the real Yeshua now. As soon as Africa finds the real Yeshua, guess what's going to happen? A messianic revival is going to break out in the United States of America. A real messianic revival among the African Americans. It is coming. It is coming, but it is need to be Africa who call upon the African Americans. And we are getting ready for that, friends. A prophetic word is being released here this evening for you to get you ready for this Shabbat and understand what God is doing. Look at this. A tribute. Mashiach, the word is Shiloh. The Mashiach will be brought to the Lord of hosts from people far. They are the one who bring him. From a people trust forth and away. A nation of Gibber and Chatter, whose land is cut off by stream, at the place where the name of Adonai of hosts abides, at Mount Zion. Oh yes, they are going to be returning, but their return means that it is the salvation of Israel. Friends, I can tell you the miracles reports that we're receiving right now from Zimbabwe. And why is it? Because the Jewish root, is being planted again. It's being replanted again. You are helping replanting this root. But this root being replanted means that all the branches are going to be engrafting. So we have two different engraftings that are taking place. One engrafting of the scattered among the house of Israel, those Jewish tribes in Africa, back to the house of Israel. But there's another engrafting. There's a greater scattering of what's happened from Africa to the world. And that is the second of engrafting, even of African Americans back to the root in Africa, which is a Jewish root. And that's why Apostle Paul said it like this. Look at this, by the way. Here is what is going to happen in Africa. Are we ready for this? This is from Itzhak Shapira, not from Rabbi Shapira. He says, Bechol pelech v'pelech, in each section, in each district, Yikreu b'shem Adonai. They will call in the name of Adonai. Umipiem yilmedu kol ha'am. Who are they going to teach Torah? They are going to teach Torah to the rest of the Jewish world. How is it possible that the people who are without Torah, who are away from Torah, going to speak about Torah to the entire natural branch? I'll just call it for a moment the known Jewish world. Friend, this is a miracle. A miracle is going to take place. You have to understand that we are in a time that God is going to do miracle. They're going to return in such a power with the spirit of the Mashiach that it will be called Pele. Look what it says. All the people will learn to them. The people will look at those scattered. The Torah scholars, the rabbis will look upon them and say, what is that? It will be a miracle. Why? It will be like a resurrection for the rest of the house of Israel, because many will call upon the name of God and will serve him. God is going to take the least and is going to make this ugly root that nobody wants, and is going to bring healing to the entire Jewish nation. To the entire Jewish nation. Now, the words of Rav Shaul, Apostle Paul, are so clear. Now, if the challah offered, Romans 11:16, now if the challah offered, as produce is holy, so is the whole loaf. And if the root is holy, so are the branches. Now, listen up. Shabbat is coming. We are going to do something prophetic this Shabbat. We're going to have the entire team from Africa leading the Torah service. This is going to be amazing. The team from Africa will be lead the service. And then there will be a joint prayer meeting. I invite the entire world to join us 9 a.m. Shabbat morning. Africa and African Americans praying together for this connection that has been broken. Praying for Africa to return to Israel. Yeah, it's not going to start with African American. It's going to start with Africa. I did an experiment this week. I went to every one of my students and I said to them, you're American. Do you feel anything to Africa? You feel anything in your soul for Africa? Each and every one of them say, my spirit and my heart is in Africa. You know why? Because Africa has Jewish roots. And God wants every African American to returning back to the roots. If he's part of the scattered or not, Yeshua wants you to return back to the root of Africa, which is Jewish. And now, this Shabbat, we're going to open it to African Americans. And I want to tell you something. If you're African American, Satan has been playing a cruel joke on you. Come back. Return to your root. Africa, you have been also deceived to the point of wickedness. And we say to Africa, return back. Critical right now that the Jewish roots of the Lambas and the Hebrew. We have some big announcement I cannot give now. Only on Shabbat I can give them. But some big things are going to be announced this Shabbat that we have to do. If we truly believe it to the prophets, we have to do them. It's simple. It's going to be a miracle. Don't ask me. It's above my pay grade. I don't know how God's going to work it out. We need to expose the root to them. So they return to this root. The rest God is going to do. And it's going to be for the salvation of the Jewish people and salvation of Africa and for the salvation of African Americans. Now you understand what's happening in this country. If you ever ask yourself a question, I'm talking in generalization. Please don't tell me this. But in general, African Americans really have something against Jewish people. It's the truth. I'm not talking about specifics, okay? Some of my best friends are African Americans, okay? But you know why they love Jewish people? Because they have new identity in Yeshua. They all belong to the house of Israel because they have a new identity. The angry African Americans is because they lost their root. And now is the time for them to return to their roots. And if they really return to the root, It's a Jewish root in a Jewish Messiah. And God is going to lead Africa with African forward to call upon the rest of the African American world. So this Shabbat is going to be a prophetic call. Friends, we're not messing around there. This is me sitting, and I injured myself terribly this week. I was in so much pain. And I'm watching the TV, what's happening. And God spoke to me face to face. When Africa become right, the African Americans will become right. Are you hearing what I'm saying to you? It's not the other way around. When Africa become right and they identify their old root, their identity through Yeshua in the household of Israel, so will be the rest of the black people worldwide. And this weekend, it's the start. It's the start of something prophetic. Will you believe with me? Will you agree with me? You will stand with us. Now we have a new race for Feast of Trumpet. Let's pray together. By the way, Shabbat, I'm not teaching. We're going to have African American giving the word this Shabbat. Mora Julian Jackson. What an amazing thing. We're going to have with Tatzitzi Masiwa, Pastor Pilani, several others. Praise be to God. We took a huge step forward in the night of the bride. And look what's happening right now. A spirit of prophecy is released. We're seeing prophecies from Isaiah and Zephaniah starting to be fulfilled in front of our eyes. I'm receiving the same report. The Spirit. Do we believe to the prophets? Thank you, Claudia, that you stand with me. But who am I? Nothing. Do we believe to the prophets? Do we believe that if the root become holy, so is the branches? Let's heal the roots right now in Africa. All the branches will be healed. And it's a mystery. In that, all of the salvation come to the house of Israel. Pray with me right now. We're ready for this Shabbat in expectation. We are preparing right now, Lord, for this Shabbat in expectation. It's going to be a supernatural, even greater, Lord, even greater.